Come out of the prison walls, broken, darling. Play it backwards till it's all undone. Rewind those long nights. Lie down and rewind the long days. Untwirl the telephone cord in the visitor's box. Go back to reception jail. Take off your blue jail uniform. Put on your street clothes, jeans, and unarrest yourself. Take off the handcuffs and undo your crime. Oh, Florida, how I fell in love with you, bitch, from the minute I entered through your Alabama border on the bench seat of a Skylark with the radio on. How I thought I'd arrived in heaven with your tropical flamingo sunsets and your key lime pies. How I explored you from up in Jacksonville all the way down to Coral Gables, your Cuban cigars, your biker bars. How I could wear Daisy Dukes and a tank top all day, every day, Florida, from your balmy mornings to your sultry nights in your motels, mansions, and trailer parks, from Tallahassee to Miami Beach and your Florida Reef, bitch. Oh, your orange blossoms, your alligators, your easygoing ways, your pawn shops and liquor stores from Tampa Bay to the Everglades. I fucking loved you and vowed I would never ever leave you till my dying day. They charged me with car theft and resisting arrest in Miami when I was 30. Truth be told, the years on the road had taken their toll on my face. I had more pleats than a gym skirt. There was a .38 revolver in the car, a snub-nosed Saturday night special, a lovely little weapon, and a box of .38s to go along with it, hollow points. They also charged me with obstruction of justice for using my auntie's sister's ID. Family got to be useful for something, right? The older I got, the more the men expected from me, a highway exit ramp hooker, and the less they were prepared to pay. But I wanted to give less and get paid more. I was tired. In Volusia County, I negotiated with a John, and he said 200 was too much, and he wanted oral, kissing, and intercourse. I was prepared to do it, but I asked for 200, and he wanted to pay 100. That's when I pulled the gun on him, and the douchebag threw me out of the car and drove straight to the police. They said I tried to extort 200 out of him at gunpoint, but I was just negotiating, and he wouldn't play fair, the motherfucker. My patience was wearing thin, was all. Hooking is the only damn profession where the more experienced you are, the less you're worth. That ain't right. It's very, very frightening in a world gone mad, in a mad, mad world where youngsters have lost the cinema and the silver screen for a digital screen will scream and scream as the world will end in a digital apocalypse, in an ending that fits like a glove in hand, and top hat and tails have made way for latex micro-minis cinched at the waist and contoured noses and Kardashian asses plumped with implants and fat transfers from the belly to the butt in the belly of the beast, and his number is 666. 6 and sticks may break my bones, and it's an online bully world where my trauma is your trauma and I'm a precious snowflake, or I will kill myself and it will be your fault, and I can pretend to be dead and organize a GoFundMe page for the funeral expenses and run away with the funds to Sao Paulo or somewhere exotic where the living is cheap and a human life is worth about $50 US and you can buy a meal for $1. Sex is cheap and plentiful, and you can get fucked nightly by fit young things who lay their beautiful bodies down in tin roof shanties and hang their disco pants on a bamboo rod of their mother's huts when she goes off to the sweatshop to sew for designer labels and makes the $800 blouses till she's blousy and past it at 45. Spin me right round, baby, right round, and fill my western face with Juvederm and other fillers. Make me look 40 till I'm 60, because I move in the circles where 80 is the new 60 and his number is 666. That beast has a belly and she swims the seven seas, the Leviathan, and she's mighty, crying when the salt water spurting out her blowhole is polluted with plastics and loaded with Ambien and hormones, plastic bags and detritus from the floating trash islands of the Pacific, terrific, Atlantic, till it rises to the shore and totally swamps Pacific Island nations overnight, drowning the palaces, palm trees and shanties overnight, till in the morning there's nothing left, mourning for a world that's only ever been there for 5 minutes in Milky Way time. Time has a way of fugit, and blink your eyes and it's gone. A lifetime channel behind your lashes, a moisturized minute in the grand scheme of things, and the real housewives of planet Earth get their beauty products from palm oil from those Pacific Island nations drowned by the rising waters in the swamp time of their lives, slipping like sand through an hourglass. Hourglass lakes, Great Lakes, Canada geese flying south for the winter and skating over the frozen lakes into Canada and back across the borders in green card freedom of Christian right and the home of the free, till the stars and stripes see stars and stripe your bottom with a lash of self-loathing and a handful of pills in the OxyContin nations of the Ambien world. So welcome to my head. God help me, because nobody else will. Toxic and gorgeous is the angel trumpet tree, pendulous blossoms in the Satsuma sunset hour. It's the national botanical of you and me. They thrive in our garden at the end of the 2-3. It's a dangerous combination, but it's ours. Toxic and gorgeous is the angel trumpet tree. Teens boil up the flowers for a trip that's for free, unaware of the angel's hallucinogenic powers. It's the national botanical of you and me. Struck by your beauty at first sight and didn't see how your toxic nature turned my sweet heart sour. Toxic and gorgeous is the angel trumpet tree. Everyone's gorgeous and toxic, I'll tell you that for free. Draw the lovers and the lightning-struck tower, Brugmansia, the national botanical of you and me. No plant more divine if this whole area was scoured, fragrant and aesthetic at sundown after showers. Toxic and gorgeous is the angel trumpet tree. It's the national botanical of you and me. Is that my camera there? Okay. Sorry, I had to, do the end. Hi, folks at home. You trance all weekend on E and meth, meet red glitterhorn sky, cloven hoof and tail him home and fuck for hours, bronchitis me Monday morning, sound shocking, can't hardly speak. I cinnamon you stewed apples. Later you tell me the virus, and that was the weekend. You said you knew, like a woman can know the exact moment of conception when her ovum is penetrated, a tiny ping. You say you know that I knew too, and I did. I never knew how sick you were, how the virus colonized you, how your blood let us down, how you couldn't fight infection. Then you died, and I miss you. I always thought of this huge spherical planet as made up of land and sea, but in fact the land and sea are contiguous, all being part of the same thing. And as well as a huge landmass of troughs and valleys and mountains with the troughs filled with water, it is at the same time a huge watery sea where at some places the seabed rises up and pokes out through the surface of the sea, and we think of that as land, whereas in fact it is just exposed ocean bed. And this is most easy to think of as Hawaii, where the 5 islands are just the tips of underwater volcanoes, surrounded as it is by the Pacific Ocean, and by extrapolation, the whole world is just a series of big Hawaiis. And just when we think we're standing on dry land, we're actually standing on exposed ocean bed, with the waters anytime liable to raise up and engulf the land and cause us to adapt and grow tails and fins and learn to breathe underwater through our gills like a form of reverse evolution, much as a baby swims in its mother's womb, comfortably floating in an amniotic sea of unbroken waters contained within the mothers of the world. But here's Twitter love story. It's a love story in 3 tweets. Tweet number 1. Oh, those fizzing aspartame days, those hostess Twinkie nights when we drank from the diet Dr. Pepper of desire. Tweet number 2. Your image from then is firmly fixed, an Instagram Polaroid mugshot in the real-time annals of the People magazine of my mind. Tweet number 3. I've blocked your Scorpio ass from my phone and all my social medias. I curse the day I swiped right when I so hella should have swiped left. I love to be heavily medicated from my dextroamphetamine dawn up into my barbiturate bedtime. I like to start my caffeinated morning with a Ritalin or Adderall kick. Continue till I need to take the edge off with Ativan and donuts at 10 or 11, or lorazepam, oxazepam, or clonazepam, Serapax for my halcyon days, or a Xanax, perhaps. Just the right dose of diazepam, and I feel the universe still has a plan. I don't need to experience any pain. There's a pharmaceutical for every feeling. No need to ever feel uncomfortable, physically, mentally, or emotionally. Just take roxicodone or hydromorphone, oxymorphone or oxycodone. And if I feel a little down, I just up my Wellbutrin, my mirtazapine, my fluvoxamine, my paroxetine, duloxetine, or even my reboxetine, if you know what I mean. And when it all gets a little too much, I can knock myself out with a subtle touch of ezopiclone, otherwise known as Lunesta, or Zaloplone, also known as Ambien or Stilnox. These industrial strength pharmaceuticals are in my hair and under my cuticles, and I can pee them out into the water supply and not be worried that they end up in the bay, out by San Bruno or up in Monterey, medicating the dolphins. Oh, they get off on it. As I drift off into my well-earned sleep, I repeat their names like a prescription psalm or a medication mantra. Pentobarbital, phenobarbital, secobarbital, chloroquine, mebroquine, methaqualone, Lunesta, Stilnox, Sonata, Lunesta, Stilnox, Sonata, Lunesta, Stilnox.